All right, we are live. The little countdown thing didn't pop up though. I guess Chris got rid of that. So
Okay.
Chris gave me permissions today so that I could actually put the podcast on Apple and stuff myself now, so I don't have to wait like 6 days for him to get it up. Because
Wonderful.
because he's useless. So like waiting for him for like a week and a half to put it up. It kind of makes it irrelevant, when we do an
Right.
opening day podcast and then he posts it up yesterday. So he sucks at his job, but he gave me permissions to do it. So he's
Beautiful.
too wrapped up in Yankees world to pay attention to us.
Well, they're off to a good start, just like us Yankees, us Red Sox fans are.
Yeah,
So
dude, I'm getting an oil change on the duck boats this week just in case.
I am going to hold off reserving my duck boat for another 2 weeks.
Yeah, I think so too. It's great week. It's certainly like you don't want to be super negative because 5-2 is 5-2, and they don't pick the people that they play. But the Oakland A's. Yeah, a lot of people you'll hear like, oh, Alabama football could beat the Browns, like when the Browns were really bad, or I bet you Kentucky basketball could beat the whoever's bad at the time, the Hornets or whatever.
Right.
And and it's always like no, they couldn't. You have no idea what you're talking about. That's ludicrous.
Crazy.
I legitimately think that the Oakland A's, like
Don't say it.
no, I'm not gonna say like would lose to like Vanderbilt. I'm not gonna say that. What I will say is like they are a AAA team though. Like
Well,
they win their division in AAA, but
Yeah.
like they're really bad.
They got a bunch of 4A guys, right, that are in between AAA
Yeah.
and being in the big leagues. But, those guys are in the right organization. They're making some money, and good for them, right? So, but you're right. That team's in trouble. And honestly, I took some notes over the series. And I got to tell you, I don't know how the Red Sox won 3 games based on how the Red Sox played. I mean,
Yeah, they didn't exactly kill them. They could have lost those last 2 games for sure. The first one was a joke, but
yeah, they made 5 errors in the first game. Other than that game was tight.
yeah, I think someone moved my camera here. There we go.
And then Cora, almost completely mismanaged game 2.
Holy God.
I don't know why he ran out of position players, but that was crazy.
Yeah, he started subbing so early in the game, and then all of a sudden, like we're in extra innings, and we got nobody on the bench, and we got Valdez out there fucking up double plays when Reyes should have been at second base, and he really managed that. I think I tweeted it out at the time too. I was like, what is he doing?
Yeah, and he didn't know the rule with the ghost runner in extra innings.
Yeah.
So by rule, according to the rules, the last guy in the made the last out is responsible to run,
unless it's a pitcher.
Unless it's the pitcher. So he was going to, from what I heard, he was going to make a change at pitcher and just put a pitch runner in so that he didn't have to put the pitcher in to run. And Bailey came out of the woodwork and said, "Hey, whoa, slow down here.
Yeah, get Valdez in there.
You don't have to hit. You don't have to run the pitcher." So I mean, but that's like, say what you want. It's been around 4 or 5 years now. This rule, you guys should know that.
Yeah, he really should.
That was the end of the game, and he mismanaged that game really poorly. If he was playing the Braves, the Phillies, or the Dodgers, he would have lost that game 8-1.
100%. And I thought too. At one point, didn't he kind of fuck up a double switch too? Like he could have had like
yes.
Yeah, he could have had like a pitcher like batting later, and he didn't for some reason. And it's just like, man, like doubles, like that was part of the National League thing until 2020. So like you can't be that unfamiliar with it.
No, but, so there was that I didn't like. I'm got a big problem with Kenley Jansen, Jimmy. I hate to say it, but
why? I mean, we were saying it all winter. He stinks.
He I don't know. I mean, he looks like I do in a uniform. Let's be honest. He doesn't look great. Either that was an experiment to see if he could pitch 2 days in a row, or we're already hurting in the bullpen because there's no reason for him to ever pitch 2 days in a row again.
No, although he didn't pitch in what was it? Game 3 against the Mariners. He pitched game 1, didn't look great, and then he should have pitched in Game 3, but they brought in Joely Rodriguez to close, and that didn't work. And then went to extra innings because Kenley wasn't available on 2 days rest.
Right.
And then the next game, he was kind of like, it looked like he was like moping around a little bit and like kind of like dragging his ass out to the bullpen, like he didn't want to.
Saw that, like
I saw that. It's like, so, I obviously he should have been traded. I've been saying all winter that just trade him. You're not going to win it this year. You don't need a 50-year-old fat closer making $16 million. That's not even a good closer anymore. Just trade him. Like someone's dumb enough to take him because of his track record. So just fucking trade him. And I think it looks like he probably wanted that too. I mean, he probably wanted to go to a contender, and now he's like toiling. I wonder if there was any of like, I don't want to go out there today on that third game of the season because they really could have used him, and then they overworked him in this series because they kind of had to. But
they don't have any trust in Rodriguez already.
Yeah, but I mean, Slayton didn't pitch, and he's looked pretty good. And Weissich looked really good too. I think he pitched earlier in the game, but I have no issues if they make a move on Jansen now and say, hey, Martin's our closer or Weissich the closer or anyone. I don't even care, honestly, who it is.
The problem is the cat's out of the bag, Jim, right? You can't in the offseason, you could lie about Jansen's ability and his health. It's very apparent that he's not healthy and his ability is,
he's throwing 91. He's throwing 91. Everything's up.
His mechanics were funky.
Yeah. He's walked every lead-up hitter he's faced so far. And the cutter's not cutting. And if this team has a chance, which, I still don't think they do, but, you never know. Shit happens. They're 5-2. You never know. They need to fix this problem quickly because you don't want to put yourself into a position where you win 83 games and miss the playoffs by 2 games because you rode Jansen into like June or something and just kept running him out there and he blows 4 or 5 saves.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean? Like there's no reason to do that. That's just not worth it.
Okay, so if that's the case, how long are they going to run with Trevor Story batting third?
Oh, I think that experiment's over, unless because he got hot in the last 2 games, sort of not hot, but he got a few hits. His average is back up over 300, I think. And if he stays hot, he'll stay there for a little while. But if he has a really bad Angels series, I think home opener Tyler O'Neill's batting third, and O'Neill looks really good.
So why? And we talked about this before the season started that Devers has to bat third. He cannot bat second. If you bat Devers second, you're taking, people say, you're taking the bat out of his hands. You're taking the legs out of Jarren Duran. If you're batting Devers second, you've got to let somebody else bat second so that Duran, when he does get on base, he can steal, because if he's stealing with Devers up and he steals second base, they're just going to walk Devers.
Yep.
Because let's face it, I'd rather pitch to Trevor Story than Rafael Devers 8 days out of the week.
Yeah, but that whole philosophy, it's like 5 years now. The analytics tell you that your best hitter bats second because you want him to get that one extra at bat, possibly, maybe. Yeah,
right. So bat him first now. Okay, how's that?
Yeah, well, I mean, that's what Philly does. That's why Kyle Schwarber's the number 1 hitter, and he doesn't make sense as a leadoff hitter either. But that's like deep dive analytics crap. And I agree with you, though. Yeah, you need to protect Devers with a better hitter behind him, and you need to free up Duran to run. Duran is running like crazy, which he hasn't to this point in his career so far. He hasn't been like let loose at all, but it seems like they're letting him loose now. And what's he like 6 or 7 steals already, something like that? He had 3 in a game.
Leading Major League Baseball in steals.
Yeah, and the kid's really fast. He's still a terrible base runner.
He's not. He doesn't run. He doesn't cut corners the right way.
Yeah, his jumps aren't great either.
He doesn't get great jumps, but
he's lightning fast.
He's got pocketbook speed, and he's going to go. And he's tough. Yeah. And listen, that's another thing with Jansen. Jansen's like a 2-4 to the plate,
Oh,
2-5 to the plate.
he's so slow to the plate. He's got no chance.
I was thinking that maybe they didn't bring Jansen in the ninth inning on the road. At home. I'm sorry, on the road yesterday, right? Which game? Yesterday, because they didn't want him to pitch they pitched him in the ninth inning on the in a tie game versus saving him for when you get a lead on the road. And I think they did that because they didn't want him to be on the mound with a ghost runner at second base in a tie game, right? And maybe they automatically bunt with Jansen on the mound.
Yeah.
Okay?
Although I don't trust that the A's could execute a bunt either.
Well, you got to test.
Yeah, but they've got some speed on that team, though. I mean, if anything, they can steal third easily enough too, with Jansen moving that slowly and with Valdez at second base. I'm sure like the timing play with Valdez and him isn't really there, and Story and him haven't really done much together either. So
right.
Yeah, that's a tough position to have put him in, I suppose. I don't like, everyone's really hyped up about Duran right now, and he's off to a good start. I mean, he started really slow. The first 3 games were dreadful, but he's been on fire against the A's. He's been thrown out of the bases twice already, though, trying to stretch singles into doubles. Right. He's not a good base runner. He makes bad decisions.
No, and I think
sure.
I think he's, I hate to say that he's still learning because he's been in the big leagues for
this 3rd season, yeah,
a year and a half, right? So of actual game times, but
yeah.
He's still learning how to run the bases in the big leagues because he's taking chances that you wouldn't take in college.
Yeah, you could tell too. Like it's just like an overall baseball like philosophy now, where they don't work on base running like they used to.
Base running, that's fundamentals. I tweeted it out today, Jim. The fundamentals in baseball in the big leagues are gone.
It's really bad. Watch it. I watched like a lot of baseball this week. I mean, I even like forego the Red Sox at times to watch other games. All around baseball, just watching like third basemen trying to barehand balls they shouldn't, watching pitchers throw away balls, watching catchers with the pass balls and the wild pitches and not knowing how to field a swinging bunt. Outfielders taking bad routes. Backup pitchers backing up infielders.
Yeah,
it was like doesn't exist anymore. I saw it twice this week where like a right fielder threw the ball. Of course, they should have hit the cutoff in the fucking first place. But what game was it? Might have been a Yankees game, and Soto fired one to. No, it was Verdugo. Fired one to third base. It was it was a good throw, but it was a little bit off, and he should have hit the cutoff. Didn't. So that's gone, and there was no backup to third base, and the ball took a bad hop on the third baseman. It's just like what happened? Like, do they not do this stuff anymore? Because that used to be stuff that A, you did a ton of in spring training, and B, like you'd still work on it a little bit throughout the season. Pregame, no one in the stadium, but you got out, before batting practice and did some of that stuff. And I just don't think they do it anymore. It's throw 100, hit a home run, let's go home.
Yeah, and let's just have. Let's make highlights for our Instagram and for our brand, and let's not worry about wins and losses.
Yep. Yeah, it's crazy. It's insane. Yeah, some of the Instagram profiles across baseball are just wild. My favorite is the Padres because they're very active, and over the last couple of years they've been so bad, and like throughout a game, like they'll post this like highlight reel of a solo shot, and like. They don't post a score because they're down 7-2 or something.
Right,
it's like, what are you people doing? Like celebrating these, like this nothing fucking achievement and a loss. It was just wild.
I had to. I've been watching. I got the baseball package, right? So I mean,
yeah,
I had
me too.
15 games a day, right? And I had to call my dad, and I'm like, he's down in Florida. You think I'm old school crabby. He's really old school crabby.
I can imagine.
But I said to him, I said, you watching any baseball yet? And he's like, yeah, I'm watching a little bit. And I said, what do you see? He said, I see a lack of execution. I see a lack of commitment to win. Commitment to win. He said, I see a lack of commitment to win. Everybody's playing for themselves. I don't know, man. I don't know if I can manage in the big leagues with guys that aren't willing to do whatever. Now you look, and the teams that are good, right? The Dodgers, the Braves, the Phillies, you know, those guys,
They play hard.
they play hard, but they also mask when they're not doing the fundamentals because they're so good.
Yeah.
Right. So, you know, like I saw Mookie Betts make a play the other day, and he completely olayed it and got his head out of the way, turned his head, and he got the ball. And he didn't throw the ball because he didn't have a play, but he was like just he didn't. The fundamentals have gone in baseball, and it's all about the highlight reel. And it's sad. It's sad to watch. And you know, you say something, and you know, you called an old head, and you're yelling at the
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
clouds, and you know, and but I gotta tell you, man, the baseball is not getting better to watch, and it might be getting more fun for people who don't know the game, but for the people who know the game and the idiosyncrasies of the game and the game within the game and the unwritten rules of the game, it's hard to watch. Even when your team's winning like the Red Sox are, it's hard to watch.
It's brutal. I don't know if you caught the end of the Yankees game yesterday, but they now let me think of the whole situation here. But I believe it was extra innings. Yeah, it was extra innings and runner on second. Now, if you're the road team and it's a tie game and they have a ghost runner, you walk the first batter because he doesn't matter, right?
Yeah, right. You set up
Right,
double play.
Exactly, because he doesn't matter. So you do that because your odds of getting out of the inning are much better. Well, they didn't do that first. Then there's a wild pitch. I'm sorry, it's not even a wild pitch. I hate calling it a wild pitch because there was a one hopper behind the plate between the catcher's knees, and he was down on one knee, and because he's coming up off of his knee to block it instead of dropping onto it and corralling it, it bounced off his chest protector and left 10 feet or so, and runner on third in a tie game in extra innings. And, sure enough, the run scored. It's just like, why would you put yourself in that position in extra innings on the road?
Because they don't care about
it's crazy. And I get that they're trying to market the game for the younger generation, the social media generation, the, everything online generation. And I totally get that, but you're killing the sport itself, and in the long run it's going to end up hurting it. And it's not like you're getting more kids to play the little league because the pros are playing this brand of baseball either. The little league numbers have never been lower.
Correct.
Which is really sad to see. So, if you think you're growing the game, you're just not. Like, you're absolutely not growing the game at all. And I think black players in MLB right now is like the lowest it's ever been since, basically since integration. It's like less than 6% right now or something like that. And that's because they're going and playing other sports. And yeah, it's because maybe baseball is too slow. And
that's not it. That's not the reason. That. That's the excuse.
That's the excuse. For sure, that's the excuse. MLB doesn't even bother to do what the NFL and the NBA do and like run camps and try to get kids in the city playing baseball. It's all about travel baseball, all about AAU, and it's all rich white kids playing baseball. And baseball has turned into a very expensive sport, and they're pushing out a whole group of athletes, and it's got nothing to do with boredom or social media or any of that shit that they think is affecting the game. They're not trying to make the game accessible for kids, and that's why kids aren't playing the game anymore.
Yeah, and the other reason is because it's so damn hard to get to the big leagues.
Oh yeah.
Right? It's so much easier. And say what you want. It's a lot easier to get to the NBA and the NFL than it is to get to Major League Baseball because there's not 3 years or 4 years worth of
and you get paid
development and sitting in hotels with three other guys in one room for half the summer. There's different avenues to get to to the big leagues in NFL and the NBA, and that's what it is.
You can make more money as a college football player now than as a minor league baseball player.
Oh, a lot more. No, that's not
like
question.
a ton more. It's not even close.
You can get more. You make more money as a college baseball player than you do as a
Yep.
minor league baseball player.
Yep. So that's the stuff that's degrading the game, not the speed of the game or the.
I have a friend of mine whose son is on the Michigan football team. He is like the sixth receiver. He had $100,000 in NIL money.
God bless him.
He I don't know. I watched like 7 games this year just to see him play. I don't think I saw him play 5 snaps.
Imagine if you had $100,000 to blow as a freshman in college.
Yeah, I'd blow it. That's what
I'd be dead. I'd be dead.
And that's what's coming. You're going to see.
Oh yeah.
Some of these kids. You know, I saw some video. I don't know where. Oh, it's University of Florida. They panned. They whoever it was up in the gym at the University of Florida, and they were looking out the window in the parking lot, and the football team must have been working out at the gym, because this student had panned with his camera, took a video of the parking lot, and there was like 25 Dodge Challengers and Dodge Chargers in the parking lot, and they were all football players.
That's crazy. Yeah. Well, if it's that easy to make, I mean, you can't blame the players.
I don't blame the kids.
No. Yeah.
Listen, I've lived it as a parent watching my son try to get to the big leagues. It's long, tedious, and hard, and often not fair.
Yeah. And now we get the dummy that used to run Massachusetts running the NCAA, so that's not going to get any better.
My neighbor.
Oh, that's right. Jesus Christ.
Lived right down the street.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
Still does. Well, his family's still there, but I don't know. Something's got to be done with that. But, you know, so to answer your question, I don't know what they're going to do to attract younger kids to play baseball.
Yeah, I mean, I think it'll autocorrect. It'll take some time. I mean, you're already starting to see some organizations in MLB have already said, hey, we're going to get back to basics here. You know, like you saw it with the Mariners, they dumped a bunch of guys that were, you know, home run strikeout only guys. And they're, you know, trying to get more contact. I think the Phillies are pivoting the same way. And we're seeing some success from pitchers that don't throw 100 this year already, which is nice.
Well, they're the ones not getting hurt.
Exactly. So I think that stuff's going to autocorrect over the next few years when people realize that, you know, I don't care if this kid can throw 100 because he can't throw a strike. That fucking kid in Oakland, Mason Miller.
Well, he's good.
He's so dirty. I mean, he's unhittable. But you go look at his stats, they're garbage. His whip is like, I mean, I'll look it up, but it's a really high whip. His ERA was like 7 last year.
He's young, right? Yeah, he's young.
He's not though, because he played 4 years of college, and so I think he's 25.
He's young to the big leagues.
Yeah, he's young for the big leagues for sure, but he's old enough that it's like he is what he is. Like I don't think he's going to get more control over a 101 mile an hour fastball.
No, what will happen, Jim, is he'll leave the A's, go to someplace else, dial it down to 97, 98, and throw more strikes, and he'll pitch till he's 40 years old.
And he was supposed to be a starter too, and you know they've turned him into a reliever. What's the value in drafting a kid in the first round to have him be a reliever?
Speaking of starters, did you see who the Dodgers started the other day? I'll just give you the guesses. Ryan Brazier.
They started Brazier.
So they started Brazier. He pitched. They did a starter type thing. He pitched the first inning, and then the lefty, the sweeping left-handed pitcher who throws, I don't know, Heaney, 89 and 92 and 93. He threw the next 4 innings. Ryan Brazier started a game for the Dodgers.
Hey, when he left here last year, he was a new man in LA. He's done that twice now, which is fucking wild. Yeah, I don't get it. And you know, they want to. There's a lot of people blaming now Dave Bush for a lot of the failures of the pitching staff because you're seeing the little bit of success that Red Sox have had this year already. Plus, a couple guys like Brazier that went elsewhere and have done well. I
I
can't
look at it.
imagine.
Yeah, I look at it this way, Jim. This is still extended spring training right now.
Yeah,
Right. So who do the Red Sox play after the Angels?
Baltimore home.
Okay, so
then we'll know.
You're going to get the litmus test right out of the bag because Baltimore's playing well. You're going to find out right away, whether this pitching staff is really good. And more importantly, and I think it's going to be actually worse for the Red Sox, is the Red Sox lineup is far from deep. I mean, it falls off a cliff.
It really does. I mean, unless like Valdez or Abreu or Wong or God forbid Dalbec.
I don't care if they all hit 300. Those guys don't fear you ever.
No, you'll never be afraid of them, but they need to hit a little bit for that lineup to be anything after the fifth hole. I mean, even Yoshida, he stinks.
And he's another one. He does not. I would pitch to him all day.
Yeah, absolutely.
He's not going to hit the ball to the ballpark. Cassis is in another world right now.
Yeah, he doesn't.
Yelling, screaming at umpires. Just swing the bat, foul the pitch off.
Yeah, and they're not throwing him any fastballs, and he's getting frustrated. But why would they throw him?
Why would you?
They don't have to throw him fastballs. It's not like a rule that says you have to give him something to hit. If you're gonna swing at fucking sliders in the dirt, you're gonna get sliders in the dirt.
Right. Correct. He's gonna get slide piece in on the righties, and he's gonna get sliders away in the left with lefties. And the same thing with Rafaela.
Yeah.
He's going to get slider to death until he learns to hit the slider, or more importantly, lay off the pitch.
Yeah. And Baltimore, they're hitting the shit out of the ball right out of the gate.
Because they're good.
They're very good.
They're deep.
Yeah.
There's no breathing room in that lineup. At the Red Sox, it's take your dog to the park for 6, 7, 8, 9 right now.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I'm looking at the Orioles starters right now. I mean, I guess that Jordan Westberg, he doesn't do it for me, but he's a rookie, and Austin Hayes is off to a slow start. But I mean, they've got 7 guys that can really hit. So if you get 7 guys that can hit,
they go both sides of the plate up and down the lineup.
Yeah,
the Red Sox is lefty, 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 lefty.
Yep. But people are excited right now. They don't realize that Oakland really wasn't much of a matchup and that you should have lost 2 of those games. But on the positive side,
you swept a team that's not even going to play in that stadium ever again after this year,
which is crazy. I think it's a good thing. People are upset about that. They've been putting 4,000, 5,000, 6,000 fans in the stadium for games for 10 years now.
Okay, so the most they're going to put in the stadium next year is 10. That's capacity.
Yeah, which is fine. Honestly, I never understood the concept of like Tampa Bay, Oakland, I don't know, Colorado, I guess. Even Pittsburgh doesn't draw crowds either. But why do you have to build a 40, 50,000 seat stadium? Why can't you just build a 10, 12,000 seat stadium and fill it every fucking night instead of 4,000 fans in a 80,000 seat stadium?
So, and I'll tell you why. Because when the Red Sox and the Yankees go to Tampa, they sell the place out.
Yeah, that's fair.
Right? And then in the off season, they run concerts and they do Monster Truck Series and they do all these different things and they bang the place out. The only time they don't bang it out is when Oakland's playing at home or Tampa Bay's playing at home and they're playing the Marlins.
Yeah, fair enough.
So
to me, I enjoy going to minor league ballparks, and there's a couple really, really nice. I mean, Polo Park, beautiful. And if you've been to a Durham Bulls game, and it's an older stadium, but it's a nice stadium to watch a game in. I would much rather go watch the Rays play in a stadium like that with a full crowd than the echoey fucking. You can hear one guy screaming in the crowd the whole game because it's so empty.
So
it's just,
It's funny you say that about the Durham Stadium. I've been there twice. It's beautiful. It's awesome. I love it. I went to watch. I saw Duke play North Carolina there in a game, and I saw my Team USA was there. They played some games there. So, but it's beautiful. I love it. I really do. I love that park. It's one of my favorite minor league parks in all of baseball.
Yeah,
Great spot.
I've been down there like 5 times now. I've got a buddy that lives in Raleigh. He works at UNC.
Oh, nice.
So I've gone down a few times, and he's got season tickets to the Bulls, and I love going to watch those games. And I love. I mean, I'm a big Durham Bulls, Bull Durham fan. The movie. So just kind of going there and seeing like, oh, there's the cow, the steer. You hit the Bulls, win a steak, whatever.
So it's funny, right? In the movie, the Bulls on the opposite side of the field, right?
Yeah.
So,
well, they've also redone it a lot since then too.
Yeah.
But it's fun to go see that. I've got a Bull Durham quote tattooed on my left arm, actually. Yeah.
Then don't tell me it's the rose goes in the front.
No, no. It's the only church that truly fuels the soul day in, day out is the Church of Baseball.
It's true.
Yeah. It's the opening line of the movie. And
I was hoping it was the rose goes in the front.
that might be my next one.
Oh, listen, I'll pay for it.
I'll get like a little rose above my pubic area.
Oh, listen, you do what you want. All right, just tell me about it after.
Yeah. But back to the Red Sox. Rotation, no complaints there. First time in years you've had they've gone 7 games and every starter's gone 5 innings. So you got to consider that a win, a good sign. I mean, Bello hasn't looked great. He looks like he's working through some stuff. Not injuries or anything, but just working through feeling his pitches a little bit.
He's also the youngest on the staff too. I mean,
yeah, he shouldn't be your ace. But Pavetta's looked excellent. And Whitlock and Hout look really good, and Cutter Crawford's look good. So no complaints there. And, they've got some pieces in the bullpen. I really like Weissert. That's a big win on that the Verdugo trade.
Yes.
Considering he was the secondary piece of the trade. That's a big win there. And Martin's looked pretty good, which is surprising.
No, they've all looked good. All look good.
Except for Joely and Jansen.
Right.
So it's just those two, but you can't keep trotting them out there every day.
No,
I couldn't believe that game 1 we're going to Joely Rodriguez and then right back to him in a high leverage situation 2 days later. I was like, what in the fuck are we doing here? Like,
I know. And Cora said it was just because of the lefties.
Yeah, they need another lefty. I mean, they're using Campbell and Campbell looks great. They're using him against lefties, and he looks really good. But you need a real lefty, and I don't know what Bernardino did, or if maybe Liquet like fuck Cora's wife or something. But like they're better than Joely Rodriguez. Like they should be one of them should be on the team for sure.
Did you see the interview? I didn't see it. I read the report. Well, not the report. I read the article with Bernardino. So I figured it was that interviewed Bernardino, and he was not happy that he got obviously. No,
he was bullshit, and he earned a spot last year, and he earned a spot in the spring this year too. That's shit that shouldn't happen. And
he even said I'm not the youngest guy, around either. So he just didn't agree with it, but he did. Then he did go on to say, I'm going to do what I need to do to get back and be ready for when they call me because. They will DFA Joely Rodriguez because he is not a major league pitcher. So, and he hasn't been too. It's like not like some like small sample. He had one good year like 4 years ago, and he's been fairly dog shit since. So, it's not like we see something in him or he's done it in the past or what. Right. He stinks. Not good.
So, nope. It is what it is. Defense has, aside from Valdez, who can't play second, defense.
Well, you get help on the way in Grissom, right? So
yeah, I hope so. Yeah, that'll fix a lot of the problems at second base. But the defenses look pretty damn good. Casas has looked solid. He's made some really nice plays. Rafaela, I mean, he's a pleasure to watch in center field.
Yeah, you put your athletes up the middle for a reason.
Yeah, O'Neill's look good out there. Duran, they've hidden enough in left field that he hasn't done anything wrong yet. It's very positive on the defensive side.
Why are you busting the balls of my team MVP?
I just don't think he's a Major League Baseball player.
Well, no, he's a Major League Baseball player. Listen,
not for a contender.
well, I don't know. They got rid of. They let Alex Verdugo go to put him in left field. So somebody thinks he is.
You see Verdugo's home run yesterday?
I did.
I mean, the way that kid celebrated, and he's back in the dugout afterwards, and he's like calling the pitcher a bitch, and like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, it's just so not New York Yankees style. I've always, as much as I hate the Yankees, I've really always respected the way they go with their business.
How they
And
went about
the
their
facial
business.
hair, the long hair, the jewelry, the shirts are buttoned up. He just doesn't fucking fit there. And watching him like act like a complete shithead after the home run, it's just like he so doesn't fit there.
Is he a free agent at the end of the year?
Yes. Yeah. So I mean he's off to a good start. And
Well,
we
he's
know
not playing every day either. So
no, he's not.
so he's going to play him when when the matchup's right.
Yeah.
Last year he had to play every day.
Yeah, he'll do well as a platoon player for sure. But he also his attitude will probably change too if he's a platoon player all year. So we'll see that deteriorate for sure. Unless like Soto gets a hold of him and says, "Hey, like this is how we do it here," or whatever.
Soto ain't doing that to nobody.
So I actually heard that he was like the leader in the clubhouse now.
At the Yankees?
Yeah. I was listening to some like Yankee sports talk, and because apparently I'm a glutton for punishment, but because it was very fucking boring. But they were talking about how Soto has like kind of taken all the younger players, especially the Spanish speaking ones, like under his arm a little bit, and has been a big leader so far, which is surprising because I mean it kind of seemed like he went to San Diego and all hell broke loose.
Did you see what he's going to be asking for at the end of the year?
That's insane. So I don't get it. First of all, I mean I understand. I thought Ohtani was overpaid. But at least Ohtani can make the argument like, hey, I'm a starting pitcher. Soto's the same quality hitter that Ohtani is probably.
No. You think so? I don't.
They're in the same ballpark. You can make the argument that they deserve the same contract as hitters. But you certainly can't argue that you deserve a $700 million contract. And what he just did to himself is priced himself out of every market in baseball except for LA and New York, who aren't going to pay him that either. And he's going to find himself, if he doesn't sign a 12-year, $480 million contract with the Yankees, which is probably where he should be. If you're doing apples to apples, what is going on in baseball right now?
$40 million a year, huh?
Yeah, I mean that's probably what we're looking at for him, which seems fair-ish. Still probably an overpay, but he's what 25, and
he's a DH.
Yeah, that's true too. That's true. But at the same time, so is Devers. So is Bogarts is going to be a DH soon, and Ohtani's a DH.
Bogarts does not look good at second base so far. I watched him play.
No,
two games.
Yeah, he's stiff over there.
2 balls away. He only got credit for 1 error, but he's thrown 2 balls away. He looks uncomfortable at the turn, and he's obviously swinging it well because he can hit. We all know.
Yeah, that. But he's never played second base, and it's people think like, oh, he's a shortstop. It's just an easy transition. Well, you know what? It's not that easy. Yeah. It's a completely different view of the ball. It's a completely different angle when you field it. It's a completely different angle when you throw it. It's a different position. It's not that easy. He'll get it. He'll get better for sure over time, but he's never going to be, I don't think, an elite second baseman. But back to Soto, I think we're going to find him next winter, come March, unsigned, asking, for huge money, and he's going to end up doing, 1-year deal with 2 options for $50 million a year. And it's because he just threw it out there that he wants $700 million. And there's going to be, 5 or 6 teams that probably could afford him that aren't even going to ask, like the Phillies or the Cubs or teams like that. They're like, well, he's out of our range. Like, not even going to bother.
I think because of his age, he is going to sign early, at the winter meetings next year.
if he makes concessions. He's not going to sign a 12-year, $700 million deal.
No. That was only a report, right? You don't know if that's true or not, but you know, I give him 10. I give him 10-5. 10 years, $500 million.
Yeah, I'd give him. Yeah, 10-5 would be, I think, a good deal for a team, or even 12, 480, 12-5 would be a good deal. And he'll get it. He definitely will get it. He's a really good hitter. I mean, he hits the shit out of the ball.
He doesn't strike out.
No, he's a very polished hitter, and especially for his age. And he's only gonna be 37 at the end of a 12-year deal, so he'll get it for sure. What else we get on the Red Sox? Larry Luchinno passed.
Larry Luchinno passed. You're right.
I was surprised. I didn't think he was that old.
He was 70, 78.
Yeah, I didn't know he was sick or anything. He, I mean, that man is the architect of Camden Yards, and well, not the architect himself. That's the woman there, Janet Marie, whatever her face is.
Right.
But he was like the driving force behind Camden Yards, and in the Red Sox in the early 2000s, and he built Polo Park basically, and
right. He stole the Pawtucket Red Sox.
Yeah, I thought, if you had asked me, 7-8 years ago who the next commissioner is, he would have been on the short list. But yeah, Larry Luchinno, rest in peace. So
he say what you want about John Henry and Tom Werner and all those guys. He was the face of the Red Sox front office.
100%. He's also the reason that Theo left, but because the two of them butted heads, and Theo had to answer to him. But Theo was young at the time; he should have been answering to him. And Luchinno did a really good job building those teams. Back to the Red Sox. Another thing that aggravated me the other day with Cora in roster moves. So you got Devers, who's clearly hurt, and he's not swinging the bat like he can, and he's had nagging shoulder injuries a couple times now in his career,
right?
And now he's got a shoulder injury already. So the other day when they trotted out Bobby Dahlbeck at first and Cassis at DH and left Devers in the field and sat Yoshida, why not give Rafi the day off, or put him at DH and Dahlbeck at third, where he's better defensively because he's a disaster at first. Why did Cassis need the day off the field? He's the young kid. He should be out there every fucking day, unless something's bothering him. And then they put themselves. That was the game that they end up having the pitcher in the lineup,
right? Because
they had to take the DH and put him on the field. That was just another kind of like, Cora, what are you doing kind of thing going on. I didn't like that.
So here's what I think about Cora. I think Cora is just going through the motions. I told you I think he's leaving after this year.
You did, but you would think if he was going to go through the motions, he wants to get the most out of this team because he's looking for a contract.
He's going to get his contract no matter what.
Just because he's Cora?
He's Cora. He's got a World Series. He's won a couple World Series, right? He's played in the big leagues for a long time. He's Spanish. If the Yankees don't win, he's going to New York.
Oh, last week you had him in L.A.
Well, that's – I'm sorry. I didn't mean the Yankees. I meant the Dodgers. If the Dodgers don't win, he's going to L.A. Yes.
Fair enough. I could see him in New York too, honestly.
Yeah, I think he's got a little disdain for New York from his for playing against them all these years.
Yeah, didn't his brother coach there too?
I think his brother was with the Mets.
Oh yeah, I knew his brother's in New York. Yeah,
Joey was with the Mets.
Yeah, where's he now? Is he still a coach in the majors? He must be.
He's an assistant. Probably he's got to be an assistant somewhere, right? If he wasn't, I'm sure he'd be with the Red Sox.
Yeah, I mean, he's been. I think he was with the Pirates or something last time I saw. I can find that out easy enough. But I expect more out of Cora, and you get off to a 5-2 start, kind of despite him at this point. It feels like with his bullpen moves and his lineups and stuff. So I hope he at least tries to win. Let's see, Joey Cora. Oh, he's the third base coach for the Tigers right now.
Okay, who are undefeated.
Yeah, they look good. I kind of thought that they'd find a way to step on their own shoes there a little bit because a lot of people were picking them to do well.
Well, they're playing the Mets, so
yeah, the Mets are a shit show.
The Mets are awful. They're awful. I think there's going to be a fire sale coming Memorial Day weekend. That guy's
soon, huh?
The manager's in way over his head. The guy from the Yankees.
Espada, yeah.
In way over his head. Alonso's a free agent. I thought he wanted to spend his whole career there. Now, I don't know. I'd like to see him in a Red Sox uniform, to be honest with you.
He's like my least favorite player in the league, I think.
But right here, this team needs a right.
He's such an asshole, though.
Would you trade Yoshida and somebody in a prospect for him?
Yeah, but why would they do that?
To get out from underneath the contract and pick up contract's not bad.
Yeah, he's a free agent. Yeah,
pick up somebody if they're going to be in the tank. There's no sense paying him. Get someone for him if he's not going to, especially if he's if he wears out his welcome there, or more importantly, if the Mets wear out their welcome with him. So I don't know. It just if the Red Sox can get some sort of streak going and be hot and end this thing at June 1st, maybe the first team that makes the move is going to be a team that's going to be in it at the end. The Red Sox are going to need a bat.
Let's say that they are in it and they are looking to add a right-handed bat. I'd almost rather see them just grab JD back than Alonso. Because I don't see you re-signing Alonso long term, and
JD's done.
Such an asshole.
JD's done.
I haven't paid attention to him at all because
he's in the extended spring training right now.
Oh, is that where he is?
Yeah. So he just he's not ready. But he's not. You need power. You need someone to hit 25, 30 home runs in Fenway from the right side.
Yeah, that's true.
Who's the guy to do it better than Alonso? And he might come cheap. I don't know.
It's a good fit. Who else would have been a good fit is Rhys Hoskins if they signed him over the winter like they should have. He's off to a blazing start. How about that bullshit with him and Jeff McNeil? Did the Mets and McNeil look like biggest pussies on earth after that? I mean, the kid slid straight into the bag. It was a little bit of a late slide, but it wasn't the furthest thing from dirty.
It wasn't dirty. It was. I don't even know if it was late. It just was long. It was a long slide. It went over the bag.
Yeah, he went down a little late. I definitely went down a little late, but it wasn't like an intentional thing. And people are like, "Oh, he spiked him in the ankle." It's like that's not what spiking is. Spiking is when you lift up your leg and fucking jab him in the knee. Like, like you're gonna get out of the way.
Get the fuck out of the way, Jeff.
Yeah. And meanwhile, too, like he bobbled the ball, which is probably why he didn't get out of the way. Like, okay, it's your fault. Like he went right after Hoskins, like with his, verbally. And I don't even think Hoskins realized because he was just jogging off the field, like because nothing happened. Like he didn't realize like he did anything. So he's jogging off the field and people are like, oh, Hoskins is a pussy running away. It's like he's not running away. He didn't know.
He had no idea.
He had no clue what was going on. And for a couple of days, McNeil, he didn't drop it either. And it just got worse and worse for him because, piling on social media.
Well, I had forgotten that they had issues last year with him when he was with the Phillies.
Yeah. It goes. They say that Hoskins was dirty in the past with him. But I saw that too. I think John Boy put out the video. Like it wasn't. None of it was dirty. And I loved the next day when Hoskins gets 4 RBI and 2 home runs. And it's like a huge fuck you. And then they throw at him after he's already got 4 RBI.
Right.
And the pitcher probably didn't even want to throw at him. He's like, why am I even doing this? And threw behind his head.
And people are like, well, why didn't the starter just do it? Well, you know why the starter didn't do it? Because he would have been out of the game. Yeah.
And there was no reason to do it for, you throw at somebody, you got to have a reason. And I just don't think that any of those Mets pitches felt like they were like justified in doing it either. And if you don't feel like you want to do it, like you're gonna miss. Like you don't really want to do it, And so they were all up in arms that he threw at his head. I just don't think he really wanted to throw it at his ribs.
Yeah, I obviously I get why they hit him.
Yeah.
But it should have been earlier in the game, and it should have been at his head or up his shoulder height.
Yeah, first pitch, second at bat.
There you go. Well, the first pitch of the first at bat, he laced a 2-run double down the left field line. And the second at bat, he hit the 2-run home run.
I was very happy for him. I was watching that game, and I'm like a big Reese Hoskins fan right now, just because of that whole drama.
I was watching the game too, Jim, and kudos to the camera guy, because when he was rounding first to go to second, they had the camera right on
McNeil.
on McNeil, and Hopkins came right into view, and McNeil had his big sunglasses on and wanted nothing to do with it.
Yep.
Right.
Nope.
Now you want to get some points in the clubhouse. Attack Hopkins right there and then.
Yep.
That's when you know what. And listen, the Mets are the Mets are the 79 Red Sox, 1980 Red Sox, 25 men, 25 caps, right? Or in this case,
yeah, they don't seem like a very like cohesive unit.
No, so that would have been great for camaraderie. Going to be great for the locker room, but McNeil's a good player. He's soft. The whole thing is just out of control with softness, and nobody's competing. Like we just talked about it earlier. I don't want to beat a dead horse, man. Quality of baseball is down, man. You said it too. The base running is awful.
It's really bad. I saw a few times this week too, and we're already at 50 minutes here. We got to keep this thing under an hour. We don't have to, but I saw it on several occasions this week. Runner on first base, he gets to the bag, and the first pitch is thrown because there's a pitch clock, so the pitcher can't give the kid a half hour. And there's a ball in the dirt, and the runner doesn't leave the bag because he's still taking off his fucking armor. And, so he missed a chance to move forward. I saw a couple runs that didn't score from third base on balls that got away because the runner wasn't paying attention. It's deplorable that these guys are like more concerned with, taking their armor off or looking at their index card or
giving the Brahma Bull to the fans.
Whatever it is, like just fucking run the bases, pay attention to the game. With the pitch clock, you have no time to be out there with your head down. It's crazy. And speaking of which, too, and this wasn't bad base running, but you see Duran on the where he should have stolen home.
Yes.
How about that?
Unbelievable.
I think he just didn't go because he couldn't get Cassis's attention.
Who cares? Just go anyways.
Yeah, I think he didn't want to get his head taken off by a swing.
Well, you know what? Cassis would have seen him coming and figured out. Don't.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, he could have scored so
He
easily.
had to have been 2/3 of the way down the line.
Oh, he definitely was. He was definitely 60 feet there. That's a shame because that would have been fun to watch. But he just, you could see him talking to Cassis after, and Cassis was looking at him like, "What were you doing?" Right. And I think I read his lips, and he's like, "I was trying to get your attention."
Yeah, and all Cassis cares about is that's my fucking stake at third base. It's my RBI.
Yeah, Cassis is a pretty selfish guy, and when he's at the plate, he's like kind of in another world. It seems like he's got like his whole breathing thing, and
forget it. Don't even get me started.
Don't
get me started.
Yeah, but he's got like his whole like little routine. But those like little routines that like you think are helping you, they're not doing your teammates any favor sometimes. And that was a situation where Cassis kind of had his head down at the plate and kind of fucked Duran out of a stolen base there.
So let me ask you a question about the Red Sox here with their offensive lineup. Is it me, or has the backup catcher caught a lot more games than starting catcher the first?
Yeah, they've given Reese more bats for sure. I'm not sure what that is. If it's the pitchers like him better, which is weird because he's not as good as Wong is receiving. And Wong can swing it too, and he has been swinging it. So I'm not sure what that is. I noticed that after 5 games that Reese had 3 starts. Who started the last? Did he start the last 2 games too?
Yeah.
So yeah, he's definitely getting more. I wonder what that is. That was a confusing thing for sure. He's swinging the bat well. They both are.
Yeah.
That could be a situation too where, if you want to, give Yoshida a night off, you could always DH one of them if you feel that strongly that Reese needs to be in the lineup, that you're benching the better catcher.
Well, you can only do that if you want to get an extra right-handed bat in the lineup because otherwise, Yoshida is a much better hitter than both of those guys.
Yeah, well, overall, I think so. But
yeah,
I mean,
overall.
Reese has been swinging a hot bat for sure. So, yeah, man. But like, hey, good first week, and it was fun to watch. I'll be glad when they're not on the West Coast anymore because I'm tired staying up and watching all these games.
Are you going to go to opening day?
No, I'm not. I got stuff going on at work, and I can't do it. I went to 21 straight opening days between like 97 and fairly recently. But the last couple of years, I think COVID year was the first year I didn't go, and I haven't gone since. But we used to we were on the news a few times actually. We'd get like a party bus, and we'd park it on Lansdowne, and you could wait in line for tickets, which you can't even do anymore.
You can now.
No, they don't let you anymore. They don't let you wait in line overnight anymore for tickets.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they stopped doing it a bunch of years ago. I don't know why. It was fucking fun. And so we used to wait in line for tickets overnight, and at 7:00 they'd open the ticket office. So you buy your tickets, and then we'd be at the Cask and Flagon by 7:30 drinking, and we'd be. I mean, some of these bar tabs over the years, like 6 to 8 people running like $1,000 bar tab before a Red Sox game.
I can imagine.
It was fucking wild. But we had like Ed Harding came on the party bus like I think twice.
Oh really? Yeah.
Yeah, do like the morning, like, hey, look at these lunatics. They got a party bus, and we did, but for 20 or so straight years, went to opening day with the same group of people. We had a lot of fun, and I'm just not into it. And I'm old now. That's a young man's game. And quite frankly, I don't want to freeze my ass off.
That's the big one. Is the cold.
I have no interest. This is the last thing we'll talk about, and we'll call it a night. But watching baseball in the cold, it fucking sucks, and it sucks to play it in the cold, and it sucks to even watch it on TV in the cold because you can't hit the damn ball when it's that cold. I'll never understand why Major League Baseball can't fix this shit and not play games until, say, April 15th in Boston, New York, Chicago, Minnesota. That's it. 4 cities, you just don't play home games until mid-April. I understand that it's harder to make the schedule that way, and that these owners probably want the earliest opening day possible for, money for the vendors and all that shit. But come on, you're still going to get your 81 games.
But yeah, game 2, there's nobody there.
Yeah. Well, yeah. It's not fun to watch. I mean, the Braves have already had 2 rainouts or cold outs or whatever you want to call it because they were playing in Chicago. So they've only played 4 games so far, which sucks.
There's been a bunch of delays.
Yeah, it's not fun for anyone. I don't want to watch players with the stupid what do you call the face mask?
These
bacalas or whatever you fucking call them. It's a ridiculous thing for baseball. It cuts down on your vision. It makes it harder to hit. It makes it harder to field. There's just no need for this shit. It's totally fucking avoidable.
And then what happens is come June, when it's 65 degrees out, these guys are still wearing the hoods underneath their uniforms.
Do they?
You'll see guys that have hoods under their uniforms in May.
Well, it's still cold here in May.
Come on, man. You got your heated dugouts. You can go in the locker room whenever you need to. Come on.
Yeah, I'm all set with watching cold baseball. And go ahead.
Did you see speaking of the cold? Did you see that the State Street Pavilion has a new name?
Oh goodness gracious! No, what is it?
Yeah, it's not the State Street Pavilion anymore. So it's another. It's Aura, AURA. It's sponsored by Aura. I don't even know what it is.
Interesting.
Because when I go to games, I go to the State Street Pavilion because
Yeah, that's like the only way I'll go to a game now.
it's there's no lines. The bathroom's right there.
Yep,
You can go
it's
in and out.
warm. Yep.
Warm, cool, nice. It's whatever you want, right?
Is the other one still called the EMC Club, or is that gone
I think
too?
it's. I don't know. I just noticed it yesterday that the State Street Pavilion has a new name. It's the Aura Pavilion.
Interesting. Yeah, that's just a sponsorship thing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but I'll get to Fenway. We could probably because I got one last year. We can probably get press passes as since we are such big media moguls now.
We are. A friend of mine is a second in command of the security over there. He's in charge. He's in charge of the bleachers. He's been there for 30 years. So we could find a night when it's not too crowded and maybe go live from the bleach from the
that'd be fun. We could do that. That's
maybe
an easy.
We could pull that off.
We could definitely pull that off. I don't know if I want to go sit in the bleachers with the
monsters. We'll sit in the monster seats.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, I would do that. I've been up there like, I don't know, maybe 10 times. That's one of the best seats in baseball.
Yeah, you just missed everything right below you. You can't see anything what happens.
You can't see where the left field is going, but it's a great seat. They're very expensive. But it's, again, like I'll do it in June or July. I don't want to sit up there on a cold night.
No.
So, where I love sitting is right field. It used to be the Sam Adams deck. Now I think it's the Truly deck.
Yes.
So if you're looking at center field, to the right of the Truly deck, up on those, I like sitting there because you can see the whole field, and the sun's on you for the day games. The sun is like, and even like early on in the night games, the sun is on you still.
It's the last spot for the sun.
I've turned into such a fucking old man. I'll go sit where the sun is. That's important to me now. Never mind the view or getting autographs or foul balls or sitting behind home plate, being on TV. None of that shit. I just want to be warm and be able to see the game. So
what's wrong?
Fenway Park is the worst. Honestly, I cannot wait until they just demolish that fucking place.
You'll be dead and buried, like I will be before that happens.
It's crazy. I mean, these stadiums you're seeing, I think Chicago, the White Sox are looking at building a new one. And I mean, Comiskey is new, like in like 90 or so. Like these stadiums that like to me are still new are going away already. And we're still stuck going to fucking Fenway Park.
Awful.
That it'd be a great museum. Like let BC play there or something. I don't know. Like we don't need to go to Red Sox games there.
It's too valuable of land, right? I don't know where they're going to go, but they had the chance to go down the waterfront, and they
don't need to be in Boston proper.
No, well, they were going to go to Everett. They were going to go to
Suffolk Downs.
And he just passed away. Joe, Jesus. He owned Aramark. He was the one who tried to buy the Red Sox when.
Oh yeah. He's the one that lost the bid. Him and Steve Wynn were going to buy it.
Correct. Right.
Yeah.
They lost to the John Henry Group. But they were going to put it they wanted to put it at Suffolk Downs. There's more room at Suffolk Downs than you could shake a stick at. You could put the Red Sox, the Celtics, the Bruins, and the Patriots, and all give them their own stadiums and have parking for everybody there.
I was just saying, and actually have parking, and the blue line goes right through there too.
Blue line's right there. They could make about 5 different stops.
That's a good spot. I mean, I don't care where they could put it in Lowell for all I care. And as long as there's parking and accessibility, like I'd be so happy because Fenway Park it's $50 to park anywhere, and you can't really park at the stadium anymore unless you've got season tickets and you've got the pass to park in the lot next to Sam Adams Brewery there. Not Sam Adams, Boston Brewery.
Yeah, I'll tell you real quick. There's when I started going to the Red Sox long time ago in the 90s, my friend had an uncle that owned a gas station next to the Howard Johnson's, the backside on Boylston Street. And he's still, the gas station's still in the family. I don't know, anyways, they would shut down the gas at like 5 o'clock at night, and they would take cars to park in there.
I would park in the Howard Johnson's a lot.
Okay, myself. So right next door is the gas station, right?
You know what we used to do when I was a kid? So, and you probably got some of this too, since your dad was also in law enforcement. we would literally park on Stero Drive, like under a fucking bridge, like
Yeah.
just pull off the road and like park in a ditch.
Yeah.
And my dad would just like be like a note, like I'm a cop.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
we'd come
right.
back and the car was still there afterwards.
Sure.
If you did that today, the car would be long gone.
No,
And,
but this guy who owned the gas station, it was like $20 to park there then, right? And he had about 50 cars parked in there, so he make $1,000. Well, now he's making $10,000 a night. It's $90.
I know the gas station. It's hard to get in there.
It's $90.
It's wild.
And
that's before you go to the game and buy beers and food and every other goddamn thing. It's like to go to a game with a couple kids, it's like $500. And then you freeze your ass off and you can't even see the goddamn game because the stadium sucks.
Minimum.
So all right, I think we've done enough old man yelling at clouds for one night. So
go Red Sox. Here we go. Who's pitching tomorrow?
Yeah, let's do it next week. And we got some earlier games. Are they on when we're supposed to do this next week, or is it an afternoon game?
I don't know.
Yeah, I'll take 30 more seconds to look that up. I'm sure
Who's
this is
pitching tomorrow? Cutter Crawford?
Yes. Wait.
My prediction is
Crawford.
6-5. I don't know who wins.
Yeah, I so far I really like what Crawford's done, honestly. Out of all these guys, I feel like Crawford's the one that could end up being a horse for you. Like,
well, let's face it, the Mariners offense isn't
no, they're
Yankees either.
Okay, so we'll be doing this during the game next week. So the game's at 7:00.
So why don't we can move it up an hour if you want, or whatever.
No, it's like bedtime for the kids and shit. It's hard for
Yeah.
me. Let's just do it at 8. We'll jump in halfway through the game. And,
Yeah, that's fine. Whatever.
So I don't think that us watching the game and just shooting the shit is very entertaining as a podcast, anyways.
Probably true.
That one last week is like unlistenable. 3 hours of us just fucking rambling and then like talking at a TV and no one knows what the hell we're talking about. My brother sent me a text message like 3 fucking hours. Are you serious? So, anyways, all right, man. Hey, great talking to you again. I'm having fun doing this, and I'll see you next week.
All right, should we talk soon?
Talk to you. Bye.